We have an update on an injured WWE star, plus multiple departures have been confirmed by AEW, and Tony Khan comments on Ricky Stark's AEW absence. It's all in the Cultaholic Wrestling news right now. A clean update on Dirty Dom. Oh God,
I was going to go down the middle there, but I thought I don't want to do that on camera.
You're welcome to.
Oh my goodness! Anyway, we're hitting at Dominik Mysterio, of course, who has been cleared for physicality. Is the quote by the Wrestling Observer? Of course, we saw him going through some kind of physicality on last night's Raw when Liv Morgan tenderly touched his torso, ran her fingers through his dirty mullet. Oh, he did well to keep character, so he did.
Gosh,
I'd have been shaking at the knees and sweating like a dog on the floor.
Sweating like a dog on the floor. That famous phrase. Oh, I tell you what, Bob, it's so hot out here. I am sweating like a dog on the floor.
Hey, Liv Morgan can do that to a man, let me tell you.
Is Dom, and forgive me being all hetero and boring, is Dom Mysterio the most lucky wrestler on the planet? Because he has Mammy whispering in his ear sweet nothings, and now Liv Morgan just touching him up on a Monday.
And an actual real life wife at home as well.
And a real life wife in the mix as well.
It's a smorgasbord of ladies in his life.
For one Dirty Dom, what a boy. Of course, he picked up an arm injury in a match against Andrade back in April. It was estimated at 6 to 8 weeks before he was back in the mix. So the fact that he has now been, according to the Observer, cleared for physicality, which means that we'll probably see him getting in there and helping out with a beatdown from the Judgment Day, or maybe getting knocked around a little bit, but cautiously so by other wrestlers. Maybe Liv Morgan's next caress will be far more physical.
What am I doing with my hands?
I don't know what you're doing with your hands. Nor does Dom Mysterio. I'm enjoying the story that they're telling as well. I like Dom has been magnificent in all of this, in that he has not really shown his cards.
He's looked uncomfortable, but the possibility of him being in on it with Liv Morgan, so to speak, I know it's a weird turn of phrase, is still there. Yeah, he has done very well. Which way will he go? Who knows? Are they working together? Is Liv actually just whizzle-wazzling Dom until Mammy comes back and sorts him out?
I feel there is some whizzle-wazzling going on, but bear in mind as well that Dom was getting routinely choked out with Rhea's legs before he became a part of the Judgment Day, so we can go quite far, can that boy?
Big sub energy, I believe the kids like to say there, Tom.
Big sub energy from Dom Mysterio. He's like a player that's not quite good enough for a football team. He's sub.
Or a sandwich.
A sub, nice. It's what Americans call sandwiches for some reason. AEW becoming a departure lounge currently, as several have flown from All Elite Wrestling over the past week or so. Now, AEW have removed 4 stars from their roster page. We've talked about 3 of these over the past couple of weeks, but the fact that they are now off the roster page on the website confirms it. So Jake Hager...
Oh, sorry, I had to do it, sorry.
Classic 5-star moment. Mark Henry.
Ooh.
Arn Anderson.
Pop a cap in your ass. The Arn Anderson one is a very interesting one before we get into the one that not too many people have talked about, because Cody was speaking somewhere in this world. He was speaking somewhere.
He just tend to.
He was on about bringing in a legendary wrestling person to be his manager in WWE. So could this be Cody and Arn aligning once again with the laminated team sheets?
I love the idea of Arn just walking out with Cody one time.
Yeah,
that'd be a great day.
Yeah,
that'd be good fun. That would be, because I like their work in AEW. I'd like their work in WWE as well. The other name that hasn't been spoken about so much is Paige Van Zandt. Now, she's been very active in other realms, but not in AEW for the last 2 years, and she's now been removed from the roster page completely. And like I said, she's been off for a couple of years, so I'm not surprised.
Yeah, I've seen your banking up there, Tom.
You've seen my banking app?
I've seen your banking app. Subscribe to those OnlyFans.
Wow,
what Paige Van Zandt's been doing for the past couple of years.
OF means only for the wedding, my love. And nothing else. Certainly nothing else, Your Honour. Paige Van Zandt, she makes enough money in those other means from other people anyway.
Yeah, why hurt yourself doing wrestling? Just, whack a bikini on top and have a great time.
This is what I have been saying to Adam Pacici for several weeks now. Onlyfans.com/Cultaholic Whizzle In other news for AEW, as we've talked about departures, here's somebody that's going to be sticking around for a little bit longer. Fightful Select reported last year that Brian Cage has signed a 5-year deal with a 6th-year option. He was a guest on the Lightweights podcast. He talked about his current deal with AEW.
Yeah, he basically said, I don't see myself going anywhere else with how long I've been there and how long my contract is for and everything else. It makes sense to stay put, and I'm happy with that. And then when pushed for an answer, how long's your bloody contract there, Brian Cage? He says about...
Say when.
Keep going, because it's massive. So big. Yeah. The direct quote is, now, about 6 years more, right? He said, with a question mark at the end of the right, which leads me to believe he might be playing silly buggers, but also he could also be signed for 6 more years.
Cage revealed that he negotiated the deal with an agent for the very first time. Normally he does the deals on his own, and he said his agent helped with a little bit of everything, including bonuses, like a DVD bonus menu. I basically thought he's my era is Brian Cage. He had his birthday party recently, and they rented out a hotel room in Las Vegas, and they had a WCW revenge for the N64 party.
Yeah.
Like, he's Brian. I think me and Brian Cage in another life, I think we'd be mates. And the fact he's going, DVD bonus menus, remember them? I'm like, yes, I do, Brian. Yeah. I basically talked to him. We went back and forth until I felt like that's as far as I'm going to go, and then tag him in to add anything else onto it. I felt like I got a little bit of everything with him. So Brian Cage is sticking around.
Yeah, good for him, because he's getting used on TV more. He's winning a few more matches as well with the Gates of Agony. That trio.
Cage of Agony,
yeah,
surely.
Sorry, the Gates are the tag team.
Bill Gates has left.
Yeah. Let me finish, Tom. The Gates are the tag team. The Cage is the trio is where I was going to go. Thank you. Thank you very much. But it's good to see him...
Dude! Call the match, dude!
Don't dude me.
I'm hot now.
But it's good to see him doing more and winning some matches as well. That's what I was going to say.
It is. And I think when he was spent so much time in that wilderness in AEW, we weren't entirely sure whether or not he'd stick around, how happy he was. Even his nearest and dearest took to socials to say, why are you not using me husband on telly? Yeah. He's just kicking around the house. It's doing me head in.
There's only so much WCW back in the day game that he can play. I forgot the name of.
I keep missing Miss Soaps, because all he wants to do is plug in the N64 to the big telly and play WCW Revenge. Can you get him out of the house for a bit, Tony Khan? Tony Khan asked a similar question while on CBS Sports, because Ricky Starks, a phenomenal talent, has been very conspicuous by his absence as of late, despite the fact that he is good to go. He wrestled at an indie event on Friday, so he's certainly healthy.
I think the learning tree situation is a very damning sort of insight into how Ricky Starks' AEW status is currently, because that was Ricky Starks' heater, Big Cass, Big Bill, has been taken away and basically doing the same thing with Jericho. So what does that mean for Ricky, Tom?
What does it mean for Ricky? What does it mean for WrestleMania? Well, Tony Khan said on CBS Sports, I really like Ricky Starks a lot. Really? You don't show it. The last time we saw him was the World Tag Championship tournament. He and Big Bill formed a great team. They were the World Tag Champs. They had a great run, and it culminated in the last televised match of the legendary career of the Icon Sting. Huge thing that Ricky and Bill, their run culminated in such an important match. Talked about 5 years of AEW, maybe to me the most special part of that 3-year run of Sting. What we were able to give him, I thought the greatest send-off ever in wrestling, and Ricky is a huge part of that. I think Ricky Starks is tremendous. I'd love to get him involved and back in AEW anytime. He's been a huge part of what we've done here for about 4 or 5 years. Tony has said he'd love to get Ricky Starks back on the books. I think he needs to check over with the booker of AEW, who is Tony Khan.
To be fair, that might be on the elite side of the tracks. Tony Khan's the big picture stuff, the elite of the day-to-day running of the company. It's like Jim. It's like Jim and Dwight in The Office back in the day.
It's okay. So he has to check with them.
It's a very political answer, isn't it? To sort of avoid the question for so long and then go, I'd love to have him back, but I don't know. I just don't know.
I'll have to ask whoever's running the place.
I just get the feeling of Ricky Starks, the way he was using AEW, then you're looking at the overtures, the pictures he has with Cody at WrestleMania. Well, I know that him and Cody are good friends and whatnot, but it just feels like he's going to go to WWE sooner rather than later to me.
Do you feel like that's probably where his journey is heading?
Yeah, and it's a shame because the term squandered, fumbled, I believe the kids like to say. That's what we'll put on Ricky Starks if he does indeed go from AEW to WWE.
Here's a thought, because I know that there's been a bit of lambasting going on, at least when I talk about it, when it seems like I always say, oh, the WWE guy's going to stay and the AEW guy's going to go to WWE. And I don't think that's the case at all. I don't think it's as cut and dry as that. So how about this, right? I think Ricochet will have a better time in AEW. I think Ricky Starks will have a better time in WWE.
Yeah.
Let's swap them.
Yeah. Oh, a trade deal.
Trade deal. Let's do a trade deal.
Imagine if they became a thing in wrestling.
That'd be great, wouldn't it?
Oh, have a transfer window every year. Oh.
Transfer
I'll
window.
don a yellow tie. It'll be great. That's a reference to Jim White from about 10 years ago, you Americans.
We've just seen Kenny Omega arriving at the Impact Zone. What's he doing there, Margot?
Ryan Cage in car park looking out windy. It's like he's like Peter Odin Wingy. I never thought I'd say his name on a news video, but there we go.
And you said it with great aplomb as well. We'll have more wrestling news throughout the day at cultaholic.com. Stay safe. Love you, bye.